Hey guys, so today we are going to be reviewing long division and looking at word problems just like we did yesterday. So our first one says Jeff purchased 72 pieces of chocolate. If he puts 9 pieces of chocolate into each box, how many boxes would Jeff need? So if we think about this problem, he already has these 72 pieces and he's dividing them up into boxes by putting 9 pieces into each box. So we've got to figure out how many boxes he needs. So we are going to be dividing. So to set this up, I'm dividing 72 divided by 9. So my 9 is my divisor, and my 72 is my dividend. So my first step is to see how many times 9 goes into 7. 9 is bigger than 7, so it cannot go. So I'm going to put a 0 there. Whenever I put a 0 on my first space, I just need to move over and look at my next number combined with my first. So how many times will 9 go into 72? So we can skip count by 9s. 9, 18, 27, 36, 45, 54, 63, and 72. So if you can't see me right now, but skip counting and using my fingers, I have 8 fingers up. So that means that 9 goes into 72 8 times. So 8 times 9 is 72. So it goes in perfectly. 8 times 9 is 72. Subtract these and get 0. So we don't have a remainder, and our answer is just 8. So how many boxes does Jeff need? He just needs 8 boxes for all of his pieces of chocolate because there's going to be 9 in each box. And if I wanted to check that, I could do 8 times 9 to get my total amount of chocolate, and then I would get 72. Does that answer make sense? Yes, it does make sense. Okay. Next problem. There are 78 tourists going on a sightseeing trip. The tourist company buses hold 12 people each. How many buses will they need? So we know that we've got 78 tourists, and we're splitting them up into 12 groups. So how many groups or how many buses are we going to need? So all we need to do is divide. So I've got 78 as my dividend and 12 people per each bus. Let me move this over here so I have some room. First step, I need to see how many times 12 goes into 7. 12 is bigger than 7, so it cannot go in, so it's just a 0. Next, I need to see how many times 12 goes into 78. So we can do this by guessing and checking. That's when we come over here and do some multiplication. So I'm just going to start with 12 times 5 to see what I get. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry my 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Plus 1 is 6. So we haven't gone over yet. So let's try 12 times 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 1 is 6. Plus 1 is 7. So 72. We haven't gone over yet, but if I add another 12 to this or did 12 times 7, I would get 84. So we would go over. So 12 will go into 78 6 times. And then 6 times 12, which we saw down here, is 72. I need to subtract these. 78 minus 72, and I get 6. So I get a remainder of 6. So with this one, we're trying to see how many buses that we will need. So we've got 6 buses that are going to hold 12 people each. So we know we need 6 buses. But right here, we have a remainder of 6. That means 6 people are left over. They're not just going to stay at the house. They're going to get another bus to fit these 6 people in. So we need one more bus to hold these 6 people because our remainder is the amount of people left over after your buses are filled. So we need one more bus. So So that would make 7 buses is how many they're going to need. On this last bus, the 7th bus, they are going to have some extra room, but they're not just going to leave them at the hotel or something. They need to take them too, so they're going to get another bus. So this is when we have to use logical reasoning to interpret this remainder and what this remainder actually means. Because a lot of you are just going to put, oh, they need 6 buses. But you need to think these are people too, and they should not be left behind. All right, one more. We already did one with buses. Let's see if we can do a different one. All right. Tommy wants to buy 110 baseball cards. If each pack of baseball cards comes with 12 cards in it, how many packs of baseball cards will he have to buy? So he wants to buy 110, and each pack has 12 in it. So we need to see how many packs he's going to have to buy if he wants 110 baseball cards. So I'm going to set it up. Come on. All right. So we have 12 and then 110. So first I'm going to see how many times 12 goes into 1. It cannot, because 12 is bigger than 1, so it'd be 0. Then I'm going to move over one number and see how many times 12 goes into 11. Again, 12 is bigger than 11, so it cannot go in. So next I'm going to move all the way over and see how many times 12 goes into 110. So we're going to have to use guess and check to figure it out. So I'm going to do 12 times 8 and see what I get. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 1 is 9. So we're still not over yet, so let's try 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 1 is 10. 108. We're not over yet, but we know if I did another 12 or times it by 10, I'm going to go over 110. So 108 is my sweet spot. I need to stay there. So 12 goes into 110 9 times. 9 times 12 gives me 108, because I just solved that. Ignore this line right here. Subtract those. 110 minus 108 is 2. I don't have anything to bring down. So he's going to have to buy 9 decks for sure, but we need to think about this remainder. So if he buys 9 decks, he's only going to get 108 baseball cards, but he wants 110. So he's going to have to buy an extra pack to get these extra 2 cards. So he definitely needs 9, but he's not going to have enough, so we need to add 1 deck on there to make sure he gets his 110. So he's going to need 10 decks. So he's going to have more than 110, but that's how much he wanted, at least 110 cards. So we couldn't leave him hanging with just 108. That's why we added 1 deck onto our 9. So that's just what we did. We used logical reasoning to interpret the remainder. All right. That is all for long division. Just remember your steps for long division are divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. If you do bring something down, then you need to repeat. If there's nothing to bring down, that is your remainder. All right, so divide, multiply, subtract, bring down. And then repeat if you did bring something down. If you have nothing to bring down, that's your remainder. All right, thank you guys.